One of the traditional indoor games of India that comes with strategy and a flavor of luck. There are several offshoots of this indoor game, but the standard rules are still prevalent in many parts of India. The link to buy the board is given in the description. Let us watch in detail how to play this game with family and friends. Pachisi or Pagade has a history from the Mahabharata, where Shakuni, the uncle of Kauravas, is the star player because of whom the Pandavas get defeated. There is a clear mention of this game that dates back to 5000 years. It is said that Shakuni had the power of rolling the dice according to his wish and could get the count that is required for that very game. The same legacy has been brought forward by our great ancestors, due to which we have not lost the knowledge of playing this game despite the numerous invasions. The board or cloth looks like this. A maximum of 4 players can play the game. The board or cloth is divided into 4 parts for each player. Each part is a house of each player, and the goal of the game is to take the pawns to fruition, which happens to be in the center. 2 dice with numbers 1, 2, 3, 4 and 6 on each dice are used to move one of the 4 pawns that each player owns. The position of the pawns moves in this path. Each division is further divided into 3 rows and 8 columns with 24 squares. One move is a pawn moving from one square to its adjacent along the predestined path. In the beginning, the formation of the pawns looks like this: 2 pawns outside together and 2 inside, one below the other. Along the path, there are milestones on each division with crosses marked on them. These milestones are safe for the pawns, where they can take rest forever without getting killed by the opponent pawns, as opposed to the blank squares. Each player has to kill the pawns of the other player based on the count of dice and the strategy they follow. Once killed, the pawns have to start from the beginning. The pawns can move as a single or as couples. The 2 pawns can move together only when both the dice get the same number. The 2 pawns together can be killed only by their enemy pawns grouped as a couple. The first pawn has to enter its way to fruition only after killing one of the enemy's pawns. The team with all the pawns completing its function wins. Entering the middle part of the boundary is getting to fruition. Let us now play a quick game of 2 players for your better understanding. Starting from rolling the dice, Team A gets 4 plus 1. 4 from one dice and 1 from the other. Team A moves their pawn this way. 4 places from one pawn and 1 from the other. Team B rolls the dice to get 6 plus 6 on their first chance. Wow! They prefer to move the 2 pawns together 6 squares away. Team A now gets 1 from each dice, forcing them to move one of their pawns 2 squares away. Team B gets 6 plus 6. Looks like Shakuni's back. Moves the pawn from inside, taking it out. Team A gets 3 plus 1, moving one pawn a step further and the other 3. Team B makes a hat-trick in getting 6 plus 6, taking the single pawn to chase the enemy's pawn. This way, the first pawn can enter the path of fruition only when it kills one of the enemy's pawns. Getting all the pawns to fruition, Team B wins.